Learners, welcome to the week 1 to 2 of the second quarter. So, our title for this week is about measuring quantities. So, here again, your teacher, Sir J. Measurement is a number that characterized on an object or event, which can be compared with other objects or events. You use basic unit of measure for length, time, weight, mass, electric current, volumes, angles, temperature, and rate. There are two systems of measures, the metric system or the international system of units, and the English system. Most countries, including the Philippines, use the SI or the international system unit of measure. The table below shows the commonly used units of measure for different quantities. So the units of measure is the first one, we have the length, volume, mass, temperature, time, capacity, and angle. So for the length, we can use for metric the millimeter, centimeter, meter, and kilometer. So these are just examples. In English, we have the inch, foot, yard, and mile. For volume, we have the metric system, cubic centimeter, and cubic meter. For English, we have cubic inch, cubic foot, and cubic yard. So for the mass, we can use gram and kilogram for the metric, and ounce and pound for English. We can also use ton. For temperature, the metric is Kelvin and degrees Celsius, while the English is degrees Fahrenheit. For the time, we have the second, minute, hour, while the English is second, minute, hour also. For the capacity, we have the milliliter and liter for the metric, and fluid, ounce, and pint or gallon for the English. For the angle, we can use degree and radian, while the English is also degree and radian. So you have to do the learning test 1. So you have to identify the appropriate unit of measure that can be used to the following quantities. So for number 1, you can make use of a yard or a meter to measure a table. For handkerchief, you can make use of millimeter. Ice cream, cup, pint, gallon, that's it. For ball pen, millimeter could also be used. So distance of your place to Manila, that could be in America, they use miles. In Philippines, we use kilometers. Number 6, baking cake. I think it is baking soda. So you could make use of cup, tablespoon, teaspoons. 7, balikbayan bags, you can make use of I think this looks for capacity. And for 8, we have the size of a shoebox. Shoes, we can make use of inches. So each unit of measure has its own use in any physical quantity. So for the length, describes how long a physical quantity is. It includes distance, height, depth, and the like. In the previous page, you can see the different units of measures used in measuring length. The smallest unit of measure for length is millimeter, and the biggest unit of measure is kilometer. Length is used to determine perimeter and area of other geometric figures. The basic instrument used in measuring length is a ruler. It has 4 units of measure, millimeter, centimeter, inches, and foot. Meter stick is used to measure longer length, like measuring the floor of your house, the distance between the floor and the ceiling, and many more. In English system, yardstick is used. Distance from one town to another is measured by kilometers in metric system or miles in English system. The instrument used is odometer. One unit of measure can be expressed in another unit of measure. It can be from smaller to bigger unit and vice versa. So when we say vice versa, from smaller to bigger or bigger to smaller, or from metric unit to English unit of measure, and vice versa. So that would be conversion. If you are going to, for example, you have 100 millimeters and you have to convert it to 10 centimeters. So 100 millimeters is equal to 10 centimeters. The table below shows the equivalent measure of 1 unit to meter since it is the basic unit of measure in metric system. So we have the millimeter, centimeter, decimeter, decameter, hectometer, and kilometer. So we have to describe millimeter. So that is 0.001 meter. So in converting smaller unit to bigger unit, you have to divide the given by the corresponding powers of 10, while from bigger to smaller, multiply the given powers of 10. So every step should be divided by 10. Every step should be multiplied by 10. So if you are going to convert smaller to bigger, you have to divide. So for example, we have decimeter. So decimeter is the dm, and you are going to convert to hm, or the hectometer. You have to count the steps. So that's 1. So starting from dm, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. That would be mean you are going to divide the given decimeter 4 steps, or 10 raised to the 4th power. So you could have the value of hm, or the hectometer. So for examples, you have to convert 3 kilometers to meters and centimeters. So 3 kilometers to be converted to a smaller unit, hence you multiply by powers of 10. Since meter is 3 steps from kilometers, then 3 kilometers is equal to 3 times 10 raised to the 3rd power, or 3,000 meters. Centimeter is 5 steps from kilometer. The 3 kilometer equals 3 times 10 raised to the 5th power, equals 300,000 centimeter. So to convert, all you have to do is to refer to the given table, such as this one. Yan. So you have to look for this table as reference for converting length measurements, unit of measurements. So for the English system, we have to convert, you have to multiply. So inch to centimeter is 2.54. All you have to do is multiply inch to given inch to 2.54 to get the centimeter. Like in the other. So we have here the kilometer to miles, meter to inches, meter to feet, and meter to yard. So for example, number 1, what is 4.2 inches in centimeter? The solution is, since 1 in inches is equal to 2.54 centimeter, then 4.2 inches is equal to 4.2 times 2.54 is equal to 10.67 centimeters. Volume and capacity. Volume is the measure of how much amount of space is occupied by a three-dimensional figure. Capacity is the amount contained in a three-dimensional figure. Volume can be measured using SI units like cubic meter for solid, which is the basic unit for volume. Other unit of measure is liter for liquid, which is equivalent to 1,000 cubic centimeter. For English system, gallon, pints, or fluid ounce are used to measure the capacity of liquid contained in a three-dimensional figures. So here is the table for conversion. So these are the examples. So other measures for capacity that are very useful in your home are shown in the table below. This is also some sort of conversion. examples is how many liters is 16 cups of milk. So number 3 is the mass. So you are looking for the measurement of the weight. So just like with the length measurement, all you have to do is to count the steps to multiply or divide to convert. So temperature is this is what we are measuring when we are being pointed a thermal scanner. We are measuring for a temperature. So there are 3 unit of measurements: the Celsius, the Fahrenheit, and the Kelvin. So we will be focusing on your learning task. So I do not have to discuss everything because it might get you confused, but I will be providing another video so that I can explain further. So this would be just an introduction, and this video will help you to answer all the learning tests for this week. So for time, yung panahon, which is the seconds, minute, hours, months, days, we also have the score, decade, leap year, century, and millennium. So angle is formed by 2 rays. So yan yung angle natin. It looks like kamay ng orasan. So we will be focusing on the sizes or the measurements of the angle. So this angle is an acute angle. So what is an acute angle? Any angle that measures less than 90 degrees is an acute angle, while an angle that measures 90 degrees exactly is a right angle. And an angle whose measure is more than 90 degrees is an obtuse angle. Seven is the rate. This is the ratio of two different quantities. Among these ratios are speed, which is the ratio between distance and time. Water consumption is the ratio of the price per cubic meter, and many more. So we will now focus on the learning test. So once you are done with the learning test 1, we will now answer the learning test 2. So you have to convert the indicated unit of measure. For number 1, so that is millimeters to meters, that is 3 steps. So that is from smaller unit to bigger unit. Then if that's the case, you have to divide. So you have to divide by 10, by 10, and by 10. So that's 3 tens. You have to divide it by 10 3 times, or divide by 10 raised to the third power. So for number 2, that is 2 steps. So that is two steps from kilometer to decameter. So you have to multiply because kilometer is bigger than decameter. So bigger unit to smaller unit is to multiply. Next, for number 3, we have 108 cc. I don't think that we have cc in our given table of measurements. So I have decided to change cc to c, which measures a cup. So 108 cups is equal to how many milliliters? You have to multiply by 1000, because if the given is 108 cups and 1 cup is equal to being given as liters. So you have to convert it to liter first, and you have to multiply it by 1000. So for number 4, 8 tablespoon, you have to convert it to milliliters. So times 15 ml, that is, you have to multiply 8 by 15. For number 5, 16.5 liters is equal to how many gallons? So you have to divide it by 3.8 because 1 gallon is equal to 3.8 liters. Number 6, so that is 3,569 seconds. You have to divide it first by 60 to get the how many minutes. So if you once you get the answer for minutes, you have to divide it by 60. So because 60 minutes is 1 hour, so you can get the value of how many hours. Then for hours, you have to divide it by 24 because 24 hours is equal to 1 day. Then you will get the answer on how many days are there in 3,569 seconds. For number 7, so 4 score, while 1 score is equal to 20 years, but we are looking for how many months are there in 4 score. Then once you get, you have to, it's up to you if you want to convert it first to years. So if 1 score is 20 years, then we have 80 years. And you have to divide 80 by 12 so that you could get how many months are there in 4 scores. For number 8, that is 299 Kelvin is equal to how many degrees Celsius? We are looking for the value of Celsius. All you have to do for this is to get the value of the Kelvin, which is 299, then subtract 273. Then you get the value of the degrees Celsius. For number 9, we have here 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equal to degrees Celsius. So what we are looking now is the degrees Celsius. So for this one, the shortcut is the Celsius is equal to 0.56 or 0.56 multiplied by the value of the Fahrenheit. So our Fahrenheit here is 200 minus 32. So 200 minus 32 is somewhat 168. 168 times 0.56. So the answer is very good. That's it. Next, number 10, we have 10,866 milligram. We have to convert it to kilogram. Since the distance between milligram and kilogram is 6, you have to divide it by 10 raised to the power of 6. So for letter B, identify what kind of angle with a given measure are the following. So for number 1, that is less than 90 degrees. So always remember that if an angle measures 90 degrees exactly, that is a right angle. Anything lower than 90 is acute, and anything higher than 90 is obtuse angle. So for number 1, that is lower than 90. Number 2, that is greater than 90. Number 3 is still less than 90. For number 4, of course, less than 10. And for number 5, that is over or greater than 90 degrees. So for letter C, you have to solve the following. For the number 1, Alice has 20 meters of ribbon. How many 15 centimeter of ribbon can be cut from it? So for number 1, you have 20 meters of ribbon and you have to convert it to centimeter first, then divide by 15 centimeters so that you could have how many 15 centimeters of ribbon are there in 20 meters long ribbon. For number 2, Mr. JB has a rectangular lot that measures 550 meters by 0.75 kilometers. So one is given as meters and the other measurement is given as kilometers. So what is the area of the land in square meters? meaning to say you have to convert 0.75 kilometers to meters so that you could have 550 meters by the value of 0.75 kilometers to meters. So what is the area of the land square? He is selling the whole lot for 206,250,000 pesos. How much is the price per square meter? So once you get the value of the square meter, you have to divide the money value so that you could get the price per square meter. Next, for number 3, drinking 8 glasses of water a day is good for your health. If each glass of water is equivalent to 148 ml or milliliter, how many liters of water you need to consume every day? So once you get the value of the milliliters, so 148 milliliters, of course, times 8 because 148 milliliters is only equal to 1 glass. So times 8, that is 8 glass. That would be the value of 8 glasses to milliliters. So how many liters? Then you have to convert the value of the milliliters to liters. For learning task 3, you have to refer to the angle given. So number 1 is angle FAP. So that is F. This is FAP. So you have to look for it from this 0 up to 70. So that is 70. What would be the classification of an angle which measures less than 90? So that is 70. So all you have to do is to put for number 1, is it obtuse, is it acute, or is it right? For number 2, that is DAC. We are looking for DAC. So what is the measurement of this angle? Of course, this might be less than 90 degrees. For number 3, NAM. So NAM is still less than 90 degrees. For number 2 is NAP is still less than 90 degrees. For number 5 is EAN. Let's just count because that might look a right angle, but I don't know if it is. All you have to do is to count. So since this is 40 and this is 115, then subtract 115 and 40, and that is the measurement of the angle. So below is the recipe of a cake. Find the equivalent amount for 3 cakes. Of course, if the cost of if wait if the cost of all the ingredients of 3 cakes is 360 yung tatlo, how much the ingredients per cake cost? Of course, all you have to do is 360 divided by 3, which is very good. If a cake was sold for 220, how much is the profit for the 3 cakes? The 3 cakes cost 360. 1 cake is 220. If you are going to multiply it by 3, that is 660. 660 minus 360 is very good, and that is the profit for 3 cakes. Then another one is you have to complete the table first. You have to convert milligram to gram, cups to milliliters, 1 pint to cups, 5 milligrams to grams, 0.006 liters to milliliters, and 100 milligrams to grams. And you have to look for the conversion table and refer to convert the givens so that you could have the value of what is being asked. And that's all for this week. Enjoy learning, don't be pressure, and goodbye.